without him.
Closed up 9.33 at 973.51. The five most actives on the big board. 77 and 5/8. Standard Oil 78 and 3/8, up 5/8. U.S. Steel 29 and 1/8, up 1 and 1/8. Let's look at our weather for metropolitan New York. Partly cloudy tonight and tomorrow morning. With a chance of a thunder shower late tonight or tomorrow morning. The overnight low in the upper 60s. It will be sunny tomorrow afternoon, we hope. The New York temperature now. Fog and possibly a shower late during the evening hours or early tomorrow morning. And the pollen count reported by Long Island Jewish Hospital in New High Park 2.
I guess I've been cutting foam in these waters for more years than I care to remember. And that should make me a native to them all. So, if you would ask me, what island are you from, I wouldn't know how to rightly answer. Home to me in these islands is pretty much where I drop anchor. No, I'm an islander. Last island astern, next island ahead. They'll both be home to me. I grew up pretty much like everything else on these islands grow, sort of springy-like, and got my learning like most island youngsters get theirs. Nudged through school, exploring reefs to search out what the sea might be hiding. And like most island kids, making the acquaintance of waters that would be my life through the men who lived on it, fought it, respected it, and loved it. My old man used to say, you respect the sea, boy, or it'll knock you end over a tea kettle when you least expect it. Make you sorry you weren't born a fish. I guess I was no bigger than a hand of bananas when I saw my first island. It was a new world of sights and sounds. And I had a devil of a time tuning myself in to catch the words that carried the warmth of their island on its breath. I tasted foods that were a far cry from anything I was ever brought up. Millionaire stuff, I figured. Lobster, wine. Yeah, millionaire stuff. Today, there are hotels that can put you up like a Raja or Texas oil baron. And make a woman feel like an heiress. Rich living? Man, the whole Caribbean is rich. The luxuries that man brought are only the cherry on top of the cream. And what used to take me an hour by Shank's mare takes only a minute today. And that's a relief. The time you save getting to where you want to be, well, leaves more time for other things, I guess. Rum being the island drink, I've often wondered what the off-islander thought of when he saw rum. History? Like cannon frowning down some ancient fort to repel invaders? Or wooden ships and iron men sailing these waters to keep the peace? Or play their deadly war games? Or might they think of a proud people who built a citadel and dared an emperor like Napoleon to come and conquer them, if he could? Pirates, of course. Blackbeard, Captain Kidd, Henry Morgan. I hear their voices in the rigging of my own schooner. Invaders looking for treasure. Today's invaders? Tourists looking for their own Galcondas and fountains of youth. I've seen islands in the Caribbean that are as much of the old world as they are new. A sort of fusing of both. People speaking a language with the soft sounds of the sea around them, rich in expression. A proud people bringing to their island world recognition and appreciation their talents have earned. I guess that in a lifetime of sailing from island to island, I brought home more souvenirs than you could find in a tourist shop. much of it plain junk. But every now and then you come across something real, something made by a hand that loved what it was making. Art schools and hobby shops were not the teachers of these island folks. An art school or hobby shop is about as common down here as snow. No, their art comes from a spirit as big as creation, and expressed through hands that reach back into time itself, I guess. You know, old houses, like old folks, have their memories. And as a young man, I could imagine I was a guest here in the great days, made welcome by some rich planter, invited to join the dancing, and sometimes just watch. I'll admit my ship's no match with some of these beauties dancing over the water. But it gets me around the islands and it brings me back. But whether carrying copra, cane, or company, all are blue water sailors with one thing in common: love for the sea. I know some off-islanders think it's all just sea, sand, and sun here in the Caribbean. And I've got to admit we've got a fair share. But what can make one man rest can make another restless. But if you've a mind to, you can always get off your bottoms and put it on a horse. Discover the islands from a masthead so high no admiral or pirate ever had one. Or just run along the sea, admiring the flora and the fauna. I can recall the wedding of one of my crewmen, youngster by the name of Armand Deschamps. Married a beauty from one of the islands nearby. Bajan, I think she was. Armand was my mate. Joined me out of Martinique as a navigator. Well, that day he had more stars in his eyes than he ever saw in the heavens. Yeah, that was the day when laughter rippled like wedding bells. That was a day when nothing mattered but being in love.
for me and you. There's a little string of islands in an ocean of blue. In these little tropic places where all we nice people live. Get plenty much of pleasure, so we got plenty much to give. Panam, that's the way to go. 500 miles an hour or even more. We got jumbo jets on our way to please. Before you know it, man, you in the West Indies. Busting Nina and the Pinta and the Santa Maria took a devil of a time to reach down here in the Caribbean. But if Columbus was alive and had to come again, he'll say, come Queenie girl with me, soon you will forget about Spain. I say, Panam, that's the way to go, 500 miles an hour or even more. We got jumbo jets on our way to please. Before you know it, man, you in the West Indies. With all the passing of time, famous pirates came, and still the West Indies islands never were the same. But today Jolly Roger gone, and up by and no we give thanks. There's no Captain Kidd aboard to make me or you walk the planks. I say Panam, that's the way to go, 500 miles an hour or even more. So jumbo jets on our way to please. Before you know it, man, you in the West Indies. Then came Nelson and Trafalgar, making history. That's when Nelson say, this is no place for a sailor like me. I can think of other places that I would rather be. Take me back to the old West Indies and the sweet Caribbean. Say Panam, that's the way to go, 500 miles an hour or even more. We got jumbo jets on our way to please. Before you know it, man, you in the West Indies. So mister, take your lady, come get aboard our jumbo jet. Make it down to the West Indies for your best vacation yet. You'll recapture that sweet old feeling. She'll say, honey, you're me man. Well, if Caribbean didn't do it, I tell you, no other place can. Panam, that's the way to go, 500 miles an hour or even more. We got jumbo jets on our way to please. Before you know it, man, you're in the West Indies. Panam, that's the way to go.